In the mix with the Vibe Show. 97.9. Catch a Vibe.
Vibe Show 97.9. It is Friday. Man, Payday Friday for some people may not be Payday Friday, might not be your week. You know what I mean? But guess what though? Let's just be happy. You know what I mean? In these times of these tough times, man, we got to be thankful. So I'm happy it's Friday. And on top of that, I have an amazing guest on tonight's show that I'm super excited about. And you guys will be super excited about it as well, as you should. I try to always bring the best of the best. You guys know that I'm trying to, I'm having a good run right now. You know what I mean? So we're gonna try to keep the bar raised high. But you know, in this acting world, though, you know, we got some elite, man. We got some great multi-talented people, and it's definitely an honor to be connected with this brother right here. I'm talking about award-winning actor, NAACP nominee, producer, motivational speaker, on top of a whole bunch of other things that this brother brings to the table. I'm talking about the one and only Alfred E. Rutherford. Let me get my brother in here. What's up, my brother?
How you doing, Kay? How you doing, brother?
Yo, man, I'm doing great right now. I'm super excited. I've been excited, man, ever since, you know, we had this opportunity to connect and be blessed with this opportunity to have you on the platform. So, yo, I'm super happy, man. Like, for real. Thank you so much for me and the Vibe team, man. We just want to thank you for this amazing opportunity.
Absolutely. I thank you all. And listen, your bring out was amazing. I was like, who is this brother? I want to meet him too.
Hey, man, you know, I just try to pay homage, man, to people that's doing amazing things out here, man, and to be able to connect, you know, it's just absolutely a blessing. So, you know, thank God, man, for the internet and all of these great things that's going on. Absolutely. So now we got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. And I would like to start with you know, which I thought was super dope. You being born in Delray Beach, Florida, raised in Abaco. Am I saying that right?
It's Abaco.
Abaco, being okay, raised in Abaco. You know, I gotta know what was growing up like there. What was growing up there for you?
You know, it's interesting because I left America when I was like 2.5, so I really wasn't too cognizant about the American lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But growing up there is like any other kid. I thought it was boring. You know, I thought it was boring. It's like it's always sunny, and you know, it's very cultural. Listen, growing up in that place was the best thing that ever happened to me. But as a kid, you don't see that. You know, I'm such a big fan of hip hop. I love hip hop, so I'm watching TV. And
right.
I want to be back home in the States, you know,
right.
home. So I kind of hated it when I was growing up, and I used to tell all my friends, "Hey, I'm American, man. I can't wait to go back home." And they used to be mad at that. They used to be like, "Oh my God, you're so pompous with that." But I'm an American. But looking back now, it was paradise, brother. It set the stage for me. It gave me a love of God. It gave me spirituality. Everything that I am today is because of that place. I love it.
Right. You know, and it's funny how we look at things differently as we get older. We don't value them, you know, when we're young, which kind of ties in, you know, because I know sometimes as we get older, you know, we tend to hold the younger ones accountable for a lot of things. But then when we play it back, you know, I mean, we didn't really value a lot of things too at those ages or whatever. You know what I mean?
You don't know how to value it. You know?
Right. Definitely. Now, you know, what would you say sparked your inspiration to want to jump into this acting game? You know, I guess it's safe to say, when did the bug bite you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, very early on. So this is a very interesting and near and dear story to me because I tell it a lot. There was a lady from Chicago who was transferred to the Bahamas. Her name was Patty Lynn Paris. She passed away. Peace and blessings be upon her. But she moved to the Bahamas, and she started like a performing arts program. And so one of the things was like, I really didn't want to do it. I just wanted to play with my friends. But she used to be like, you have such a lively personality. Come and do this.
Right.
So she would have me like dance in her pageant shows, me and my friends and all of that stuff. I was really good at it. So it really, I didn't know she was a really trained person. You know, she was classically trained in Chicago. I didn't know, again, like growing up in the Bahamas, I didn't know what I had access to. She was this classically trained performing artist, and she was focused on me, but I was kind of like, who cares? I want to go play ball. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So I would do it as a form of extracurricular, but I never took it serious. And then I was with her for a long time, and then I moved back to the States to come to high school. But that was she actually provided me all of the training and inspiration I needed to become an artist.
Wow. So yeah, so we definitely owe a lot to her for actually, you know what, man, I think that is so amazing when people can actually, you know, see these gifts in us, and we can't even see these gifts.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, and for people like ourselves, it's important for us to actually look back for these other artists, these other people who want to get in the entertainment industry, and not to see these people who just want to be famous and stuff like that, but people who really have a divine spark to be an artist. You know what I mean? Like, those are the people we need to be building up.
Right, absolutely. Now, you know, I want you to be able to break this down for me or whatever. Self-expression. What's that passion that drives you with that? Because you know, you have a love for self-expression within the arts. Can you explain that for me?
Yeah. So, you know, I think we're a collection of our experiences. So a lot of times, particularly in our community, right? It's Black History Month, so we can actually talk on this, right?
Right.
But a lot of times you see in our community, we can watch like cinema and we can watch TV, but a lot of the times we see things, it's not reflective of people we know. Like, there's an element of it that we know. We're like, okay, this is the hood, this is that, but everyday working people, we like, that's not how it is. Like,
Right.
So for me, self-expression is basically, for me in art, I always get an opportunity, and I've been blessed in this case, is to bring those stories that express the deep African American experience, the deep Black experience that people can have. So it's not just about the father who left his family. It's about why he left his family, and it's not all about thugging and all that kind of stuff. So for me, to self-expression means to me is basically to bring these deep human nature stories out about our community, so everybody can see them, as opposed to seeing us from one standpoint.
Right. Now, you know, it's interesting that you say that, because you know, when you look back at like the Boys in the Hoods, the Menace to Society movies and stuff like that or whatever, and I would like to get your expert opinion on this or whatever, because I'm just thinking about this now that you say that. A lot of people, you know, and even though those movies depict, you know, a lot of realistic events or whatever, a lot of people that's not mature enough to be able to grasp the real message out of the entire movie may take the wrong thing away from that. Yeah. Do you know, on the inside, looking out, is that ever something that is thought about, you know, that far out to that degree? I'm just hoping that they be able to grasp the right message on it and not be like, okay, cool, I'm, you know, old dog is the guy that I want to be, and I'm going to go out here and, you know, rob this liquor store and knock this guy off in the process.
Right. Well, for me it is, but you know, a lot of times if you talk about Hollywood, in a sense, that's a machine. So, you know, we have to understand is that it's show business. It's a part of business, and they're in the business of generating income and building capital.
Right.
So for me, I believe, like, so when you talk about drugs, guns, and gangs, and you don't talk about the repercussions of jail and death, you talk about sex, most sex, you don't talk about STDs and pregnancy. You're being irresponsible with your art. I've always said that. So I don't like to come across as being too preachy, but at the same time, I do believe that artists change the world, and we have a responsibility to make that happen. Also, I believe that parents can sometimes get lazy and they allow the television to raise their children. You know, my mother never had to worry about me seeing Tupac and Juice and deciding that I was Bishop and I wanted to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because even though
Right.
that's you know, I feel like that was a kindred spirit. I had enough of a foundation parentally that I was able to stand on that foundation and not get lost in the art like music or movies and go crazy. So
Now, with saying that, do you, you know, because that does connect to upbringing, and I was having a conversation with somebody today on that. We was talking about um upbringing because a question was asked to me about a situation, and I was saying, like, you know, depending upon the upbringing and things that you are exposed to at a younger age, you know, as you get older, I mean, you do unconsciously adapt some of those behaviors, you know, but at the same time, certain things, you know, I just can't really connect with, like you just said, because, you know, I did have a decent upbringing, um, grew up in a single parent home, but, you know, my mom was an educator, you know, for years, a teacher, and there was just certain things that just wasn't allowed in our household. So as I got older, um, certain things you know, I can't really relate to or understand because, you know, we had a certain standard. I had to work hard, you know. She provided the things that I needed or that we needed. And then it was, you know, always stated that, you know, if you want this, you want a pager, then, you know, you got to pay for that yourself. So when you get a job, then you can buy whatever you want to buy. And I really took that serious. You know, a lot of people might not resonate in, but with me, it resonated in. So now in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I need to get me a gig then so I can get the things that I want to get. So do you think that upbringing plays a major factor with, like, the whole thinking process along the way of growing and maturing?
absolutely. And so we're back, at least in reference to me, we're talking about the Bahamas because I have a very intense personality. And I've always said that growing up in the country that I grew up with, the mother I grew up with the grandmother I had, probably saved my life. See, when I was growing up, I didn't have access to like gang members and all that kind of stuff. I was in the islands, you know what I mean? So
Right.
my love for hip hop, because let's be honest, right? Music, we always say music is the language of the heavens, right? So music has a frequency. So like you just talked about, music or visual images, these things are going to influence you whether you like it or not.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't care who you are. It's like love songs. I can give you a song right now that you probably know, and you could probably remember your first love if you guys had a song. You could hear it, and you're like, oh, you're there. It transports you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so when you grow up, and I'm always an advocate for that, right? I'm always an advocate for parents being so instrumental in letting kids know that this is just art, and it's almost like Fantasy Island, right? And I think
Right.
like for our community, we get judged too hard, right? Because for like the rappers, it's like everything they do, everybody blames it on rap music. Like,
Right.
oh, the rappers. But you could have like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. He could shoot up 1 million people, and they never said, "Oh, those kids in that school did that because Arnold Schwarzenegger was doing that." They never get. It's never that connection. Only with us. So while I do think it's important for parents to have that instrumental influence in kids' life, we do have to be responsible enough as a society to stop putting the blame on art and artists all the time. And as artists, we need to have a responsibility for what we're projecting and putting out into the world.
Right. I totally agree with you on that. We're saying that, you know, do you think that the narrative is changing a little bit, because we are seeing progression within the you know, the Black community. We're seeing progression in the entertainment space, and the films, and you know, more producers, and you know, out in the front. Do you feel that, you know, with being a part of this business for so long, you know, are you seeing that forward progression? Do you feel like a lot of just do is coming to the light more?
I do, because I'm never ever going to stop and say I don't think it is. But there is an issue.
Okay, let's talk
And,
about it. Let's talk about it.
and the issue is going to be access to capital. So I call it the special Negro. So they're
Right.
so they're always going to put some people in place who they can make reference to say, well, this isn't the case because we have Alfred over there and he's doing well and he's making all this money,
Right.
and then depending on how my mindset is, if I've been brainwashed enough to kind of sell people a certain image of what I'm trying to sell or what we're trying to sell, I might just say, let's keep pushing everything like it is, because it's our responsibility to make sure the people who have the talent get access to the resources they need to be where they need to be. I always say this. The reason why I think the entertainment game is so messed up right now is because people who really don't have talent, they have connections, and they speed past the people who really don't, who really talented.
Man, that's
you know what I mean? And the people who are really talented, they have to work these other jobs. So when you go into like Walmart and these other places and you see people and they're giving you attitude, sometimes you got to think this person's probably miserable because they don't have an opportunity to do what God has put inside them. You know what I mean? They can't do it. So they don't have the access to these things. And this is not about excuses, because I believe in America is you're gonna do as well as your hustle. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make it happen no matter what. But if we're gonna talk idealism for a while, we can say this is that in our community, yes, there's been progression. Yes, we've seen a lot of changes. It had to happen because we've seen somebody get actually murdered on the streets. So we've seen this stuff happen. We've been saying this for years. But we need more access to capital. We need more producers who have money, because we listen, and I'm sure you know this. If you're a black person in the entertainment industry, there's Tyler Perry, so we have to give him his flowers for sure. Right. But like a time when like Barry, and I'm too young to remember this, but I could still study history. A time when Berry Gordy was basically had every #1 black artist on the planet was on Motown. You listen, Smokey Robinson, Marvin Gaye. You could cut. Everybody knew if you had talent. Everybody knew they had to get down to Detroit, so they go audition for the great Berry Gordy. Right?
Absolutely.
We don't have that no more because we don't have like I have a mentor of mine. He says that black entertainers, they're sons of lost fathers. He said we have no fathers. We have nobody who says if you talented, I'm fine. We don't have that. So we have to kind of go about ways, i.e. like a Jay-Z. Yeah, I sold some out of dope and I got here and then I flipped it here, and he was smart to do that. But it's never a situation where like if you play basketball, like you know that a scout is going to see you. You know that. You don't have to worry about that. You can go to a camp and somebody's going to see you. But like if you're an actor or something like that, that's a far in between. There's a possibility that you may get lost in the cracks. It's a possibility.
Right. Man, that's deep right there too, because let me ask you this. If let's just say miraculously we all just say, you know what, we all just finally realize that we are entertainment, whether it's movies, television, sports. I mean, we've basically entered every sport that you could possibly name of the ones that we wasn't even interested in. We got that too. We got that too. So we do. I think if let's just say, like I say, miraculously or magically, we all decide and realize, like, you know what, we're just gonna boycott and shut it down, and until we get more equal situations or be looked at as such. Do you think that would have a major impact on everything, or could you even see that vision?
Number one, I can't see it.
Absolutely.
Number two, I don't think it's a good idea. See, here's the problem about boycotting. We're boycotting because we're saying there's something wrong. But you alluded to it earlier. The unity is the issue with us. So statistically, right? If we look at the black spending dollar collectively in America, it is estimated that the black spending dollar collectively would make us the 10th richest country on the planet.
Right. So
why are we complaining about not having when we have so much money collectively? So we don't own anything. This is the problem. Ownership. And I know Dame Dash is saying this all over, and I think a lot of people are like, they're put off by the way Dame says it, because it's not what you're saying, it's how you say it. But there's a lot of truth in what he's saying.
Absolutely.
But we don't have to rival anybody else. We just need to be able to come together. So I should be able to come to you and say, brother, I'm doing this film, and I need some backing. And you can say, well, let me see the business plan. Let me see everything made, blah, 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 blah. And okay, let's make it happen.
Because I'm in position, and I can make that happen.
Absolutely. And back again to the access to capital and the resources. See, we think we just want to be the show. We don't want to be behind the cameras and have the real power to make things happen. And I'm on a crusade to make sure we need to see more producers, directors, writers, showrunners. We need to see that. We know that we can be in front of the camera. We can sing and we can dance and we can act. We can play ball and all of that stuff. We want to see more owners. We want to see more people in position to greenlight these scenarios.
Okay, so now we heating up, Al. Yeah, we heating up now, because I gotta ask you this now. Okay, so with that being said, do you think that it's a part of the grand scheme to issue out a few dollars to people with weak mindset to push certain agendas out in the front to disguise the ultimate goal of what could be accomplished with these distractions by putting these characters out front? You know what I'm saying? Because it's way more flashing dollars than we've ever seen. You know, it's way more Lil Joe Blows and different people that's just catapulting into these positions. And then you got people who've been putting in the work who really got skill set. Not as much.
1,000%. You're like that. That's profound, bro, because that's how I really truly feel. But again, I'm gonna say this: there's room enough for everybody. So the clowns that want to do that, there should be room for them to do that. But we should, as a society, but as a community, we need to start having more accountability for people when they do that stuff and we think it's misleading our community. You see, because we allow people to have full access to the destruction of our community, and we reward them for it. We listen to their music, we buy their clothes, we do all that stuff. But that's not cool, right? Because we're basically rewarding bad behavior. So you talk about boycotting earlier. It's like, for me, like, I don't have to tell you how much I don't like somebody's music. I just don't listen. I just don't buy. I don't participate. And guess what? Sometimes I got a friend of mine, and he used to do this in Harlem a lot. We used to be walking in Harlem, and he'd stop by somebody's table. And he could have $20 on him, his last $20. And he'll buy. And I'll be like, yo, it's your last $20. He said, yo, we got to support these small businesses, man. He said, we got to support these small businesses, because if we don't do this, nobody else going to do it. And that's the mindset we need to have. I have to listen to your show, not because I can't listen to somebody else who's on who may or may not be on a bigger platform, but because I know you and I know that you're doing the work and you deserve to be there, and I'm going to support. That's what we need.
Facts, man. Facts. Wow. Now, with accomplishing so many things that you've accomplished in your career, all of the roles you played in the past, like, what would you say has been your favorite?
I have this, you know, it's almost like your first love, I guess, or, you know, your first marriage, maybe. But the first feature that I ever did was a film called Albany by a very talented filmmaker by the name of Andrew Burroughs. And again, this is somebody who's like-minded as well. I had never led a feature before. You know, he contacted me early on, and he was like, I like your look. He's like, you know, he talked to me for a while, and then he hit me with something that I'll never forget. We had developed a relationship after that. Then he said, I want you to come to the audition. Now, I thought I had the role already.
Right.
The audition, right? But because of the work ethic my grandmother and my mom put in me, I was like, oh, no problem. I'm going to go get this. And later on, he told me, he said, I really want to see if you was going to show up.
Right.
Because a lot of times, and this is the other thing we have to get rid of too, this whole entitlement situation, is that we get cool with somebody and we expect them to give us something, to hand it over. No, you got to go and take that. So I tell everybody out there, if you want success, go take it. Go get it.
Right. Yeah, I preach that every day, man. I'm just like, people look at the position that you may be in, and like I had somebody hit me up in the DM, man. I get that all day long, the position that I'm in. And I like the music on somebody else's page, right? I thought the little song was dope.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess she seen me comment on somebody else's stuff, which was her song. So as she should, she commented on it. I mean, when somebody else, I'm gonna get that comment too.
That's right.
Because we all on the same post. So I was like, she was like, thank you. I was like, yeah. I was like, keep putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm digging the joint. So she went further than that, and she hit me with, she was like, oh, radio platform, blah, 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 blah. Boom. So she hit me in the DM and was like, yo, thank you. And I was like, you're welcome. Because I don't really talk to people too much, but when I see some value there or whatever, if I can give them an encouraging word or whatever, cool.
There you go.
So then I'm like, then she like, hey, can you repost it? Can you go on my SoundCloud? Can you do this? I mean, it was like 4 or 5 different things or whatever. And I hit her with, I was like, okay, well, she looked like, she needs some assistance or something like that or some help. So I hit her with a, a business link or whatever to, fill out a form. Let me know what you're trying to do, and might need help with or whatever. And I might could get you connected or something. I might could help.
Absolutely.
Never heard anything back.
Don't want to do the work. See what I mean?
Don't want to do the work. Don't want to do the work. Because I mean, I'm tying it in with what you're saying, like, man, like we're doing the work. I love that, because that's something that needs to be highlighted today, because it's like everybody just wants you just to give them an opportunity, which is cool. I think that people that just putting in the work deserve opportunities. But at the same time, I feel like people that's given certain opportunities also abuse those opportunities and lose sight.
Man, you have no idea. When I see a lot of these people get in situations like you have no idea how much a lot of these opportunities they get, how much they pay. Mm-hmm. So when I see somebody throw away a situation because they lack discipline, whether that be the discipline to just show up and know your lines, or just stay away from cold stars or whatever like that.
Right.
It's just amazing, because there's so many people out here who are just literally on their knees at night praying for the same opportunities people are taking for granted. So You're right about that.
What would you say has been like the toughest or your most challenging role, though?
Wow. My most challenging role. So I did this film called Grand Gesture. It was a romantic comedy.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't really know is that, like, I can do comedy well, but I take myself serious too. So that's right. The thing that happens to you as an artist, right? You can start taking yourself too serious, and now all of a sudden you're presented with this comedy situation, and now you don't know if you can handle it. And then now people start looking at you, and they start going, this is why people don't understand, like, why don't I see this guy enough or that guy enough? Because you can do something so well that the imagination of those people who are greenlighters, they can't place you in that situation.
Right.
They're like, I don't see him, man. I don't see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So one of the things that I told myself to do is, like, anytime I get a chance to do something that takes me out of my comfort zone, I'm gonna do it. And it was a great film. And I mean, it did well at Chicago Film Festival. A lot of people was like, I didn't know you had comedic timing like that.
Right.
And I'm a naturally funny person in real life. But if you talk to me, you have a conversation, and it always seems so deep. So you would never take that to be like that. So I think that was the most challenging, just because a lot of people didn't think I could do it.
Right. See, I like how you flip that, you know what I mean, and use that as a tool of motivation. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like that's dope. Who would you say is your favorite actor, and why?
My favorite actor is absolutely unequivocally Al Pacino.
Man.
Listen. There's a couple of my friends, they watching this now, and they notice when we was in college, I used to watch like Scarface and Carlito's Way like every day. I used to walk around the halls like in a Tony Montana, I was so enamored by his performance and the little tics he had and everything. He to me, he is truly like a master. He commands the screen. You know, I have some director friends of mine who they hate when I say he's my favorite because they're like, oh, he's a character now. I'm like, listen, when he played in Godfather, y'all wasn't saying that.
Right.
You know, when he was in Godfather, you guys wasn't saying that because everybody gets to a certain point and you become known for something. That becomes your thing. Everyone knows that. But he's a master. That's my favorite actor. I love that guy.
Right. Definitely on my list of favorites as well. I can't lie about that. Now, have you ever been in a situation, you know, in your career where you had a role that may have compromised your integrity to the point to where you was like, you know what? I can't. I just can't do this. I got to pass it up. May have been a great, you know, financial situation or whatever, but it's just the role that they were asking you to portray was just too compromising for you.
I kid you not. It's so funny you asked about that. No one has ever offered me drugs in my life ever, because my personality is so strong. You know when I'm coming to the room, right? You gonna know.
Right.
So I felt so proud about that. You're like, why are you talking about drugs now? I'm gonna tell you why. So I live bi-coastally, so between LA and New York. So by the time I got to LA, I was like, okay, cool. It was still the same thing. So the one time that happened to me, so I'm gonna run it down for you.
Run it down.
Yeah, I go in for. I know my agent probably home like this, but anyway.
It's all right. It's okay. Tell them relax.
I know. I go in for this audition, right? And I go in for a small role. It was a small role, and I was like, okay, cool for a cop. So I get in the room, and there's like the producer, the writer, the director is in there, and I do a pretty good job. So
right.
As I'm walking out, the director says, "You're too talented. Why'd you go for such a small role?" So I was like, okay. I was like, it's the role that, you know, fit me, whatever, and no roles are small or whatever. And he was like, I want you to audition for the lead in this film. And I was like, the lead? And I was like, okay. He was like, do you have a problem with looking at these sides right now, going outside and coming back and doing it? I was like, no problem. So he gives me the sides. I get the sides. I go outside and I look and I see what it is. Now I don't want to get too deep into what it is because that opens up the whole conspiratorial type thing. Right. But when I seen it, I was like, this is something I won't do. I'm like, I don't do this. This is not my thing. Now here's the thing. Now in my mind though, I'm like, okay, two things can happen. You could go in there and say, oh no, I don't do that. Or you could be a professional and you can do the audition. So basically what I tried to do was I just tried to go in there and give the best audition I could give. I said, okay, I'm going to give it best I can in the space that I know because I don't really know this scenario. I don't know. Right. I don't have any resources to pull to give you this a genuine performance, but I'm going to do what I can do. So I calm myself down enough to say, okay, go and do the audition. I go and I do the audition and it was like, that was great. We'll call you. So I walk out thinking, okay, cool. It was I got out of that. That was cool.
Right.
Listen, by the time I got home,
hey Alf, man, you're perfect for that.
Hey, listen. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's crazy about that. And my wife is serve a testament to this. It was more money than I've ever been offered for a role.
Oh man.
So this is before we got married too. So I'm in LA in a studio apartment. You know how that go. So I'm out there and everything, and I say, yo, I can't do this. I have a whole country on my back.
Right.
I grew with my mother and my grandmother, and just basically how I see myself. I was like, there's no amount of money. And listen, this is the difference. So people can't say, oh well, wasn't enough money. Listen, I didn't have no money at that time.
Right.
I didn't have nothing.
Right.
But I said, yo, I can't do this. So I called him. I told him, I said, listen, I appreciate the opportunity. He's like, yeah, we're going to be shooting on the studio. He tried to sweeten the pot. We're going to shoot in the studio and it's going to be blah, blah, blah. And I said, it's not really something that I can do. And I'm going to pass right now, but thank you for the opportunity. And the thing that got me the most is he said, yeah, I didn't think you would do it.
What?
Yeah, I was just like, what?
Right. So he took you through the whole spiel to in the end game. I didn't think you'd do it anyway. But
Yeah,
we
I
were
don't
just
know.
gonna try. We just were gonna see. We were gonna throw the line out there just to see if you were gonna bite.
We're gonna test the waters. I mean, listen, man. I'm not for sale. Listen, everybody has a right to be who they're gonna be in the world, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll be a staunch advocate for that for people. But one thing growing up again in the Bahamas, I got to tell you, is that God is in me, and
Mm-hmm.
my ideals, I don't break that for anything.
Right.
My ideals, like people who know me, they'll tell you, nah, it's certain things he will not do. They're like, nah, not him. Because if tomorrow you offered me something, you said, listen, you got to do this or you can't do that. Tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
I'm educated enough to say, you know what? It's been a good run. It's cool. I'm gonna go and become a professor somewhere or something like that.
Right. Now, Al, before we vamp off now, being that we talking in third person on this particular situation.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, man. Because like I say, talking with you, I'm getting the inside info. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? From an experienced place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we got guys or women, who may be straight
Mm.
and they're proposed to, they get these scripts of playing, the opposite of, you know what I'm saying,
Great.
that straight character or whatever.
Right.
um how is something like that approached? Because like, some look at it as art, but we know that, portraying these certain roles or whatever goes far beyond, once the film's done or whatever. Is all of that taken into consideration as well? Like, okay, cool, Kano, we want you to and I'm all artsy, I'm artsy with it, and perfecting my craft and testing my skill set and all of this, and then they hit me with the joint, and I'm like, you know, that's just a prison scene, or this, that, and the other, or whatever, and they're gonna they gonna take me for a ride.
Yeah.
Do actors consider the after effects or the backlash or the way that the media made, is all of those things in the mix as well when challenged with these type of roles? Because we see some people in there that we know straight,
Yeah.
and we see them play those roles, and you like, all right, did a damn good job with that one right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a little bit too good.
Yeah. Yeah. My answer to that is to each his own. I have some friends who are like artists, meaning
Mm-hmm.
they want to do whatever the role they decide to do, whatever they're gonna take on. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm gonna do it. So if that is playing a gay guy, they're gonna go all the way with it. They're gonna go all the way with it. But my problem with that is kind of like, so I can give you an interesting take on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like if you got a writer, right,
Right.
writing about the Black experience,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you be like, I'm not saying that you can't do that, but I'm saying like there becomes something inherently suspect about it, because you kind of like, well, where'd you get your information about that? Like, so did you grow up in a Black neighborhood? Did you research this? Or because you have all these shows on these scripts a lot of times, particularly like in the 80s and 90s,
Mm-hmm.
it was like it was written by some guy who wasn't Black, who didn't know the Black experience. So the same thing what you're asking is, I don't know why we would say to somebody who was adamant about being like, well, I'm straight and I don't want to do this, because money becomes a factor too at that time. Money, prestige, and all these kind of things. I don't knock anybody for doing it, but I'm saying, I always look at it and say, because I know a lot of gay actors. I have a lot of friends who are gay actors. I'm like, well, why couldn't he get that role? Why are you so adamant about making that guy who is straight do that role. Like I'm
when
like,
you got people who like that, who good actors, who don't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like I'm all about everybody getting the opportunity. So if like I don't need to see Denzel Washington in the dress.
right.
I don't. Why do I need to see that?
Ooh, you just hit the next. You hit a good yeah, something that
yeah,
I definitely want to ask, man, to
yeah,
get
like
your
give somebody else an opportunity to do that. We already seen it before. We seen Flip Wilson do it. We seen Jamie Foxx do it. We seen Martin do it. We seen all these other people do it. So we don't need to see somebody else do that. So why keep pushing that?
Why is the dress the ritual? Come on, Al, talk to me now. Let's we doing it, brother.
I'm seeing all these messages run across my phone.
We're doing it, Al. Can we talk about the dress, man? Because like, you know, I just want to know, man, because like you know, we're seeing it, and I don't think that all the conspiracy theorist people, you know, everybody ain't wrong about what they're saying. I mean, it's got to be something, you know, everybody's saying the same thing. It's got to be a little bit of truth in there somewhere, huh?
Right. I feel like Dave Chappelle feels. I feel like if Flip Wilson did this with Geraldine, and you had so many other actors who've already done that already, right? It's already been done. It don't come across to me as funny no more, right? Because we had somebody in the 70s doing this, right? We had Flip Wilson doing this, killing it. He doing Geraldine, it was funny, haha. I grew up watching Martin doing with Shanae. It was funny, it was cool. There's no way you should be asking anybody now to do it. I mean, now, is it, and here's the other thing too. Where does that fit in the story? Because sometimes you watch something, right? You be like, this didn't need to be in there.
Right.
So that's what makes people feel like there is a conspiracy, because you're like, it has no place for this to be there. As Dave Chappelle describes him, of them asking him to wear a dress and then coming back and the script didn't actually say that. Was they really testing him or what? Like, he's like, you were just testing me?
Right.
To see if I would do it. So I don't think it has a place. If it doesn't have a place, it's been done. I don't know why. And again, like I said before, if people are happy with wearing dresses and doing that stuff, more power to them. I just think it becomes a problem when the artist personally is against it, but you're still pushing that and telling them, hey, you know, like Dave Chappelle said, you know, it would really be great if you wore the dress. You know, at that point, you're trying to make me do something now. It's not a part of pushing the art anymore. Now you're trying to push an agenda, what it looks like.
Now Donnell Lawson said, and you're right about that, Donnell. Donnell said they put Larry Johnson in a dress.
Yeah, so Donnell is one of my college mates. So it's true, you know. So for those people who may be lost in what we're saying, so we can kind of bring them up to speed and say, traditionally, from a conspiracy theorist, we've said that they always try to put black males in dresses to effeminate them and feminize them. And
to be clear.
Like, absolutely. Just want to be clear about what the perception is of it. Is that they try to effeminize black males, particularly strong black males. So I believe that's true. I don't necessarily know. I can't agree or disagree, but like I said before, sometimes I don't see the need for it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like I'll look at it and be like, well, why do he have to have the dress on? Like, it wasn't funny. Like, look at Martin. He was wearing all kind of other stuff. Jerome, Otis. That's funny.
Right.
All the other stuff, I don't need to see that. But like I said before, if somebody's down to do that, they should be able to do whatever they want. It's just something that, you know, they push a lot. So I don't know.
Right. You right about that, man. And I definitely appreciate you tapping in on that. And because it is something that's relevant and something that's going on you know, within the community, the entertainment community. You know, we're seeing a whole bunch of weird stuff or whatever. You know, we seeing, you know, men, you know, being, you know, leaning more to the women's side and the women leaning more to the men's side. I mean, I'm just, you know, what's going on. You know what I mean? So
it's crazy. It's crazy you said that. When I was a kid, I had a professor of mine who was a philosophy professor. I have a philosophy degree, among another degree. And he said to me, by the time you're a man, he said, the world would be pushing androgyny. He said, and I didn't believe him. I was like, oh, crazy. He said, the common theme of of sexual orientation of the world would be androgyny. And I was like, well, he said he used other words and everything, but he was saying it'll be an androgynous society. And I was like, no way. So, and now I see it and I'm like, oh wow, he was right. You know, he had his finger on the pulse.
Yeah, he definitely hit it on the nail. I tell you that right now.
But I'm open to everybody doing whatever they think fulfills their artistic thing. It's just something that it's just not my cup of tea.
Mine neither, Al. Like I'm with you, my brother, on that. Now, you know, do you feel that actors should date actors? Because you know, it's a lot of hours that go into it or whatever, and you know, one would have to be mentally strong to be able to deal with, you know, being married to a beautiful woman, which is, you know, an actress, and you know, these roles, these sexual roles, it's all different types of things within the art.
Absolutely.
You know, but you know, do you feel that it's better to date, you know, someone within the entertainment business because they would, you know, understand mentally, or you don't really look at it like that?
I can't say that it's better because they have a high divorce rate as well.
Absolutely.
So I can't say that it's better. I can say, speaking for it, I believe it's important for artists to have. See, artists, they need a lot of support. They need a partner who's going to be very supportive. The life of an artist is really up and down. It's a roller coaster ride, and that can affect the relationship because you know when your friends who have regular 9-to-5s are doing things like buying houses and getting married and that kind of stuff, you're making a demo tape or you're auditioning. You know what I mean? So so a person who's a regular 9-to-5er may not understand your life. They may be like, listen, you got to give up that dream and you got to do this right here because you living in a dream. But another artist will be able to support the fact and be like, you know what, you do your art, you know, you do what you have to do. You still have to be responsible within that, but you have to do your art.
Right.
But converse to that, my wife is an artist. She's an actor.
Absolutely.
And I always give her the exception to the rule because I always laugh and I tell her, I said, oh my God, I don't believe actors should date actors. I think they're too vain by nature. They need the same things.
Right.
You know, they need the same things. They need the same type of support. And I think oftentimes, in my dream world, I would like to believe that someone who isn't so close to your industry would be able to provide something. Because you know, when you're around a bunch of actors and all they do is talk about acting all day, to me that's exhausting.
Right.
You know, I'm sure if you're talking with your personal friends and they're talking about radio all day, you're gonna be like, hey, yo, dog, like let's talk about something else.
I just left the joint. Like I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So with that, I would think in a relationship you would want somebody who would have the opposite effect of talking to you about something that you can say, okay, this person brings another perspective of life that she can share, or I can share with her, and vice versa, as opposed to us just sitting down having a conversation talking about art. So it's pros and cons to it.
Right. I definitely get that. Now, you know, we spoke earlier. We touched on. We was talking about, you know, things that events that's been occurring, which have been occurring, you know, for forever. But it's just things are more on the internet now because everybody got phones now and things are being more, you know, you can't really duck off no more and do things or whatever. It's out there. But even with it still being out there, it still seems to be not being taken very seriously as far as, you know, having visual evidence on things nowadays or whatever. It still seems like when it comes down to, you know, a certain race, it's still not being accredited.
Yeah.
With everything that's been going on and being really polarized or whatever, you know, emotionally, how has that been making you feel?
I live in that space every day because I do consider myself someone who is very sensitive to the human condition, particularly my community. And just being someone who considers himself to be a someone who's involved in like social and civil justice, right? But with that said, it's human nature when I think about it, right?
Right.
Oftentimes people don't really connect with anything unless it directly affects them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been telling people for years, man, like the police be beating on us and all this, and they're, oh my God, you're just talking, and then they saw it with Rodney King, and they were like, really? And then with this, the greatest thing, and if there's anything positive that can be said about George Floyd's murder, peace and blessings be upon him, is that we were able to show the world something that we've been saying forever. They got to, so this wasn't, so when they say the revolution is not going to be televised, I don't necessarily know if it was a revolution, man, but I can tell you this. I had people call me of different races crying and saying, we always have these debates and you talk, but when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. And I've been telling you this for years. Years. They just didn't believe it. So what ends up happening with human nature is you don't believe anything until it directly affects you.
Right.
Like this pandemic and the Great Depression and everything that's happening with money right now, you're going to see more and more people getting more violent. Because now it ain't about race now. It's about class. Right? So it's about who has and who hasn't. So you're going to see more and more people, like those people who stormed the Capitol. You see, so when the perceived power is being taken from them, do you see the way they react? Because let's be honest, when the Black Lives Matter went over there, they had guards outside with guns and not to let them in, right? These people had free access to get into the Capitol. And I'm just sitting there like, and people are like, how did they get in? I'm like, because those group of people aren't perceived as a threat like that. They were like, how could this happen type situation? If you believe it really happened the way it happened. That's another thing, right?
Right.
But
they're going to paint the narrative, you know that.
Yeah, but those people aren't perceived to be a threat. When we were doing Black Lives Matter, we said we was going to march on Washington. Man, they was gunned up. They was waiting for somebody to do something stupid like storm the Capitol. So it just shows you the discrepancy or what we have in this not even the country, in the world, how one race is viewed and how the other race is viewed. And it's Black History Month, so we're going to quote Malcolm. We're going to say a white cat or white is perceived to be pure, right? And the black cat is evil, right? You can look in your dictionary, you can see that black, devoid of color, white means purity. So I'm trying to be comical and bring some levity to the situation when I say you're right. One group is looked at one way and one group is looked the other way. But I believe that's going to change because I believe my generation, they grew up on hip hop. They're not like the older generation who grew up on hate. No. So this is why you will see a place like Hollywood is going to change because those white executives, those people who are in power, they don't have the same hate that their fathers and their grandfathers had. They don't have it. Right. They grew up like if you look at someone like Michael Rappaport, he's like a great example. Yeah. He know hip hop better than me and you. Because
absolutely.
He grew up in that, being a part of that. So his mindset is these are my people. You know, based on how he thinks and culture, not necessarily skin color.
You know, with all that being said, Al, man, let me ask you this, and you can answer this as honest as you possibly can. Do you honestly really think that we will ever be looked at equally?
Yes, I do. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. I believe a lot of things is going to change in the next 100 years. I believe me and you will probably be dead and gone, or maybe not. Maybe we
might ride it out, Al. We might ride it out, Al.
We ride it out. But I'm gonna say this: it's gonna take a long time. Yeah. It's gonna take a long time. I believe. See, babies being born now, and listen, I saw an article I read the other day. It was like maybe a couple months ago. It's called "The Browning of America." See, more and more people interracially are dating. So more and more people are starting to become brown people, and across the world, statistically, the colored people of color, right, are the majority, right? Just we seem to think that America is the standard for everywhere in the world, and it's truly not that way. But I do believe things are going to change. I just don't think we're going to see it right now. But I do believe all the events I'm seeing in the news and everything, I do believe we're moving in the right direction. But it's going to take a lot of chaos first before we get to the calm. There's going to be a lot of chaos coming this year. It started off with the Capitol, but it's going to be a lot more chaos happening because we have to go through this transitionary period of us 150 years. Darnell said, "Oh my God, it's a long time, man."
Come on, D, man, don't do it. They say 150.
I'm trying to live to see this, man. So, but I do believe it's going to happen. I just don't think we'll be around to see it. But understand this when I say, I believe personally that people who are not a threat to me, I don't really focus on them so much. So why are we such a threat to some people? So that's what I really think. That's what I beg other people to really think about. Is it that they don't see our worth, or that they know our worth and we hope we don't see our worth?
Man, Al, I'm not gonna lie, man. We definitely got to talk off air because I want to bring you back on Vibe One, which is open table talk. It's another show that we launched a little while ago, and it's actually doing pretty good. But we can have these open discussions like this and really really talk about it. So I definitely we got to arrange that and set that up to bring you back on Vibe One, man. Now I knew this was going to be magic, man. You know what I mean? This time, this radio thing, we be on this time thing or whatever. But I want to run through a few things real quick because you do a lot, my brother, and I'm very, very thankful for the services and work that you do with the youth and everything. You work with the YMCA with all different types of programs within that infrastructure. Can we talk about the joy and the mission, that you have in place with being able to, work with the youth and actually, try to instill some values and some type of motivation in these young youth?
Yeah, so that's something I'm very sensitive about, is like youth literacy, youth hunger, right? And stuff like that. Because books was a way for me to escape and to expand on my life. But the kids are the few, and I know this sounds so like cliche and everybody tries to say it, but I'm real when I say it. The children are the future, right? And for me particularly, I worked at the 14th Street YMCA on the McBurney YMCA, and I was fortunate. I was a young Black executive there, and I got an opportunity to. So I was an adult youth and sports director there, and I saw the access that a lot of kids had to, whether we were going to the Metropolitan Museum, all these other museums that they had for summer that I had to basically oversee. But I didn't see a lot of Black faces. They were sprinkled here and there. But I started to think like, wow. So when people really start to understand that the whole notion of people being special is more about being placed in the right positions and getting the right information, we'll start to actually create people who will go to Saturn and the moon. Because listen, we don't know. There may be some young Black, Latino, Asian kid out there who actually has the cure for AIDS. We don't know. But they're struggling to survive and to eat, so they're not even worried about school like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and that's what I mean. So for me, for entertainment, that's what I hope God gives me the opportunity to be able to every time I do a film or I do films in the future, I'm able to open the door for younger people, because I don't see that happening. I see people having to jump through a lot of hoops. And I don't see the opportunity be there for a lot of these kids to really come through and be mentored properly without being taken advantage of in a way that we all hear about in the news.
Right, absolutely. Let's do some shout outs, man. Let's show some people some love. Your crew, staff, anybody, family, anybody you want to shout out right now, man. Let's go on and give them their flowers, man.
Yeah, you're gonna give me my rap moment. I get to give my shout out here.
Absolutely.
But I like to say what's up to Christine Tyson. She's been a rider from the beginning. Christine, we've been through a lot together. I want to say up to Andrew Burrows, who's a great friend of mine, great director, working on the second project. To my friends Craig and Donnell, who are chiming in here and trying to make fun of me while I'm doing this interview. They're really good friends.
Yeah.
I like to shout out to my mom, who isn't really watching this, but she wants to see the recording. I love her to death. And I like to thank all of my ancestors, known and unknown. I have my grandmothers are not here to see the work I'm doing right now. But I know they're watching over me. I know that's happening. So I like to give a shout out to them. And of course, I like to thank my beautiful wife. She is my rock. She's my inspiration for a lot of the stuff I do. And I know I'm a lot to deal with, but you know, it's the ride that God puts you on, sweetheart.
Absolutely. Look, man.
And I want to thank you. I want to thank you and your staff, brother. You guys
Oh
have
man.
communicated all week, let me know how everything was going, making sure I was straight. So I just, and listen, this is no smoke, and I'm telling the truth. When people like yourself really reach out and your word is your bond, you say, listen, I spoke to you just like 2 weeks ago, and you say, hey, I'm gonna have you on the show. And sometimes people tell you all of that, and you don't
Absolutely.
see them again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you
Absolutely.
definitely a man of your word, and I love it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh man, you know, we connected. Now, once you come on the Vibe show, you vibe family at that point. So we just gonna continue to work, man, and do the work, you know, put the work in or whatever. So you already know the doors are open for you and your wife, man. Definitely open so we can continue to do the work, you know, unified. You know what I mean? Now let's talk about any future projects that we could look forward to, that you know that may be up and coming or whatever. And double question, would like to know how you know the pandemic has affected you, and what have been some of the methods that you have done to keep your brand alive within these tough times.
Yeah, so I'll answer the last question first. The pandemic for me, I'm a reader, so I've been home reading or going to the gym or doing yoga or you know like I see it like this here, man. Like, a lot of great people are gonna come out of this pandemic if they done the work. Like, because believe it or not, we're like yourself included, right? We're transitioning from the old guard to the new guard. This is why you're seeing you're seeing a lot of deaths now, because it's just a natural cycle of life. We have to move new legends in. A lot of people are gonna go. They've made their impact on the world, and then now the people who are gonna set the standard for the next 20, 30 years, they're gonna start to rise up. So for me, it's about I've been doing the work. I've been, you know, connecting with my fellow creatives. Got so many projects coming in. I have a series called Live and Die and Best Die. That's by Joseph Grant. That's actually partnered with the Source magazine. They're actually they're going to be bringing that out. That's going to be a big deal. Look out for that. It's called The Live and Die and Best Die. I have a film that I'm working on right now called Papa's Pain. That's going to be great. It's dealing with everything that we're talking about Black abandonment from the male point of view and fatherless kids. We're going to have that. I have a film right now that's out. It's doing very well. It's called Last Champion. It stars.
It's number one, huh?
Yeah.
It's number one, huh?
It was number one in December for a while. Hey, listen, let me tell you. I know you got time restraints, but let me tell you something real quick. So I told you Al Pacino is my favorite actor, right?
Right.
When my film came out, got the re-release of Godfather for like 30, 40 years had just come out too. And every couple of days I was seeing us climbing, but Godfather was number one. And when we overthrew them, the film I was in at least overthrew my favorite actor and my favorite movie of all time. So it was an amazing thing. It was the most amazing thing.
Wow, man. And let's put those social platforms out there too, and ways that people can get connected with you, man, and tap in to all of the amazing things that you have going on. And also you're a motivational speaker too. So people who may need some motivation or need just a listening ear, I know you provide that as well. So let's put those handles out there.
Yeah, so all my social media handles, I try to keep them consistent. It's Alfred ER16. So that's ALFRED ER16. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. On Facebook, it's just, you know, Alfred E. Rutherford. You can find me there. And my website is alfrederutherford.com. You can also get in contact with me there. We have everything from jewelry to. I'm just teasing.
Look, I'm about to be like, we got the jewelry.
We got jewelry. We got jewelry. We got all kinds of stuff. I'm just teasing.
Hey man, we gotta talk about this comedy thing, Al. Man,
You
got it, bro. Yeah.
So, but again, it's a pleasure for me to be here, brother. I truly had a great time. The time went so fast.
Look, Al, I'm telling you, we gotta. You definitely got back on here again. It's just an amazing experience. You know, you're an amazing brother, man. And for me and the Vibe team, I just want to just thank you. You know what I mean, and tell you right now, you know, thank you for all of the work and your constant commitment to change and trying to uplift the culture, man, and keep pushing forward with the youth and just trying to steer them in the right direction. I just want to thank you, man, for all of the work that you're putting in, you know, delivering these amazing films, man, and just putting in the work. So I want to thank you personally. You know what I mean?
You. And my last shout out is I want to give praise to the Most High, because without him, I would be doing none of this. So I want to make sure that, you know, that was my final shout out, is that thank you to God for just putting this light in me. And it's my job to show it to the world.
Absolutely. And before we get out of here, too, you know, we talked about so many things and covered so many things. I always like to leave with some uplifting words for anybody, man, that may be low in spirit. You know, a lot has been going on. You know what I mean? You know, from 2020 all the way into 21, we're still going through these things or whatever. A lot of people lost loved ones, you know, dealing with COVID, maybe, you know, on their last leg, or whatever, out of jobs, can't go to work. Just a lot of mental frustration going on in the world right now. Could you leave them with some uplifting words?
Absolutely. And I'm going to stay true to form. And this is for all the artists out there, because I know the hardest thing to do is to believe in yourself when you don't see everything else. So I'm going to make reference to one of my favorite characters in the Bible, and that's King David. But there is a scripture, I don't know off the top of my head, it was a scripture that said David had to encourage himself in the Lord. And what that basically means is, at a time when David was already pronounced to be the next king of Israel, he did not see it. He was actually running from King Saul. And most of Psalms is David crying out to God saying, have you forgotten about me, Lord? Right?
Right.
But he kept his faith, and he decided that he was going to be steadfast. So I want to say to all the dreamers, all the people out who want to be in this entertainment game, and you may see some of your friends on TV and they may all that kind of stuff, and you wonder, God, what happened to me and why not me yet? Keep going. Do not judge yourself based on somebody else's race. You know what I mean? My grandma used to say, your food gonna get cold if you look at somebody else's plate. So I want to encourage everybody to keep going no matter what you see, because this is just sight and you must walk by faith. Do not believe what you see. Believe what you see in here, not out here, because I guarantee you, if you keep going, one day you're going to wake up and the tears going to roll down your face, and you're going to realize you did everything you said you was going to do and you accomplished it. So keep going.
Amen, man. Wow. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You know, moving with purpose.
Absolutely.
Out here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
My brother, thank you so much for those words, man.
Thank you.
I'm sure that it's tons of people out here that really that's listening right now, man. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate that, and value you as well. Put those handles out there one more time, man. I really want people to get connected.
Yeah, my social media handles is Alfred ER16. That's ALFRED ER16. And in case you wanted to know, I'm born on the 16th. That's why it's that way. So yeah, so it's Alfred ER16. That's my social media handles. I'm really more active on Instagram, to be honest with you.
Right. Y'all make sure that y'all get connected, man. And also visit the website. Visit Alfred's website. That's at www.alfredrutherford.com. Y'all make sure y'all get connected. This brother got a lot of amazing things going on and in the works, man. Oh, and you know what, too? Go ahead.
I got one last project I want to plug. I got a Christmas movie coming too.
Come on, man.
I got a Christmas movie coming too, and we're working on that right now. Me and Christine, we're doing a Christmas movie, and we're going to try and make that happen. I'm telling you, man, I'm not just talking, I'm all about it. Really making sure that Black people are represented, that we see things for people who look like us. So we got a Christmas movie coming.
So wait a minute. So wait, y'all writing this y'all? Yeah.
So it's obviously one of my best friends, her husband Jose. I like to say what's up to Jose, but I'm a big Christmas fan. I'm a big Bill Murray fan. I love a lot of films like that.
God,
so yeah, so one day she asked me, like, you know, what would be the ideal thing for you to do? And she's like, I want you to be cheesy. Don't be like Die Hard and all of that. She's like, be real cheesy. And I said, I would love to do a Christmas movie. Months later, we have all these things together, and we're really pushing that. So we got a Christmas film we want to do, because I'm all about inspiring. So if I could do it through redemptive stories and add a little spirituality in there, so throw it in there. So do it like that.
Hey man, congratulations on that right there. That's big. Now when the auditions roll out, keep your boy in mind.
Absolutely. We gonna have you as the grumpy radio the grumpy radio guy.
Look, whatever you need me at, man, brother. Whatever you need me at, I'm gonna get it done.
I got you, brother. I got you. And listen, you're in Texas, right?
Yeah. No. I'm in Louisiana. The show is based out there. Yeah.
Listen, I am like so one of my best friends lives in New Orleans. I'm always I love New Orleans, brother. Like, I love New Orleans. That's my spot.
Man, you got to. Well, look, you know what? We gonna chop it up, man.
Man, I didn't even know that. I thought you was in Texas. I love Louisiana.
Yeah, the station is based out there. But I'm from Dallas though.
Okay, that's what I'm looking. I'm like, yo, you in Texas? Oh
yeah.
Oh man, I love Louisiana. That's my spot.
Well, hey, I already know one thing. Then we got some stuff to do, my brother. We got some stuff to do, man. Listen, everybody, y'all make sure that y'all get connected to my special guest, and now my brother, man, the one and only Alfred E. Rutherford. Y'all make sure that y'all get plugged in with all the amazing. He got a lot of amazing work already out there already. So y'all make sure that y'all get connected and stop playing games. Let's make it happen, man. If you got ideas, like he said, now is the time to execute. Now is the time to bring it to fruition and start doing the research and doing the homework to get it done, man. Now, so when it does open back up, you already have the blueprints ready to go and be in motion already. So take advantage of this time, man. It's not all bad. You know what I'm saying? This is idle time that we all got to be creators and actually bring that idea that you didn't have time to do because you was running around and doing this and doing that. Now you got time to make. So nobody got no excuse right now.
Right. That's right.
It's the Vibe Show with my special guest, the one and only Alfred E. Rutherford. Y'all make sure y'all get connected. If you are new to the channel, y'all make sure y'all, and you loving this and you loving it, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications for more amazing interviews coming up and on the way. We have so many more in store. Also, y'all make sure that y'all subscribe to that Vibe Show 97.9. If you're already on here, you might as well go on and subscribe. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Alfred just delivered a classic right here. Also, y'all make sure y'all log on. We log on to our official radio station website. That's www.thevibeshow979.net, where we're playing nothing but exclusive music 24/7. Also, rush over there to the App Store and download that mobile app if you want to just really get it all in. Download that exclusive Vibe Show 97.9 mobile app. Follow me on Instagram. You can follow the station. That's the Vibe Show 97.9 FM. We're very active on Instagram. We follow back. Appreciate all the love, all the support. Y'all make sure that y'all put those masks on. If you absolutely have to go somewhere, mask up. Treasure your life, man. This too shall pass. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. I love y'all. For me and Al, we out of here.
Yes, sir.